In this video, I'm going to discuss how to determine when the market wants to auction higher. Just share some ideas on that using order flow and then the micro pivots on the tick chart here. It's a 5-minute tick chart. And interestingly enough, this is on ES. Interestingly enough, this is very similar to the post I made the other day on X on NQ, where I was talking about how the bids, algos were sitting on the bid immediately after RTH opened. And same thing just happened same thing happened yesterday on ES. This session is from yesterday. So let me go ahead and hit play here. Try to fast forward it a bit whenever I need to. But yeah, we opened right here. Just right away, they're sitting on the bid right at me at RTH open. I'll be sitting on it above VWAP as well, but not yet. I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter. Okay. And we have some little pivots here we can mark. We rejected twice here, and then we flipped it, and then we opened right above it. So this little pivot area, I can catch those pivots there. Okay, so we're up here at value area high. Yeah, so I was already bullish leaning, even though we didn't really see a definitive sign yet that it was going to go higher yet. But we had like a situation during the overnight where it couldn't take out some prior low. I can't remember off the top of my head, but so I was already thinking that if it pulls back and they're still sitting on this bid, or if they lose open, I want to see them reclaim it kind of quick. And I knew it was off to the races and we're going to be upside. I didn't know it was going to be a trend day that was going to just keep on ripping over and over again, but I was pretty confident that we were going to be seeing upside yesterday. I only took longs, didn't take any shorts. Let me speed this up. Okay, so fell back down below value area high, so micro level control is bearish right now, but we're coming down into the POC, this dashed line, and RTH open. But the RTH open is what I'm really curious to see here. And we have this LVN here. This is the visible range profile. So we kind of lost wait. Let me actually draw it over here. So we can even draw that. You know, we got these pivot highs here. And it broke out of that, but it's back below it. So, and on the visible range, we're seeing low volume below the open there. So we want to see them defend that. Let me speed it up here. Tested a little bit below. Tested back down below it again, and it's bounced here. It's a bit of a micro level setup right there. I can draw it. Yeah, so we come up and then we're making an attempt to put in a new low below RTH open. Comes back up and instead, so a failure to put in a new low takes out this micro pivot high. and then it back test it. So this is bullish control on the micro level. Pretty much all about longs. Okay, I'm going to take it forward. They came and back tested into that again, and they went up to that little pivot area and kind of auction into it. There's another spot where they're going to auction up here that we're going to look at. It was one of the main things that I wanted to look at. So, but we're auctioning up into that prior little pivot area. Because sometimes the market will lose a pivot and it still kind of respects it or shows that it is when it comes back, or it's at least showing that it's somewhat valid, you know. There's a bit of a reaction. There's some offers stepping in right here. And then, you know, an imbalanced move. And we want to see if they can hold above VWAP. Because they defended RTH open again on the back test. So if we can build volume above VWAP, that'd be great. And so we're in this LVN area. We want to see them defending, ideally. Let me speed this up again. All right, so it came back down. Yeah, so I didn't even realize. I just drew this to show that this was a trade setup, but apparently it back tested it yet again. I mean, it really just proves the way the market is, you know. That when you lose a pivot area and you test it, it's going to have a reaction. You know, you got like trapped inventory in that area. There's a little bit of trapped shorts in that area, but we also have buyers that are defending from that point. So, and so it didn't really respect this pivot line. It just kind of went above it. But then when it came back, it started respecting it again, kind of like I was saying up here. It just blasted through this, but it got back below it. And then it was showing a bit of a reaction. It rejected off of it and consolidated into it. And they kept back testing it a little below sometimes. Okay, let's go forward here. Hold on. We have a pretty clear spot right there right now. Doesn't really line up too well with this back here, but okay, holding above it. Okay, so we're getting above value area high. Yeah, we had a little micro auction there. That was nice. I'm going to start pushing it forward at 5-minute intervals here. Yeah, and so we have a micro auction outside of value area high. So it's telling us they might be gaining control outside of value, which would be bullish. Yeah, on the visible range profile, we got this auction, so it just makes it a little easier to visualize what's going on. Okay. Yeah, and so it's breaking out of that micro auction, so yeah, value area high right here is having some touches on both sides right now. We can even mark that in case value area shifts higher or something. speed this up here. It's taking forever. All right, so they're coming back down into it. We're testing into it. Okay, tested below it. Let's see if it can hold. Yeah, and so we had another, it kind of went into this prior micro auction. It's kind of dirty. It's not right on point, but then it kind of back tested close to it. Let's go forward. Yeah, so the way that it's compressing, it was compressing outside of value. Or even if it was like right at value doing this, I would think that'd be pretty bullish. If it did the look above and fell here and got back below it, we want to see it take this out. You know, that would be the sign that we're accepting back inside of value. Okay, so now we're at value area high and we're rejecting at the new value area high. So we're starting to build some volume above this area now. Okay, and then it breaks out. Yeah, so every time we have these auctions and then it breaks out, that's a really good clue that the market wants higher prices. And then, ideally we want to be above VWAP, which we are. And then we have context from earlier with the algos sitting on the bid at RTH Open. So all these things are kind of lining up and telling us that they want higher prices. And this is a market that's been putting in all-time highs, so that's another bit of confluence. It's also interesting that this happened on the first day of October as we're leaving September, which is historically the weakest month of the year. September is generally the most bearish. I'd say it's generally the most tricky month of the year. A lot of setups and situations that normally work, they just weren't really on point like normal last month. You had to kind of approach it a little bit more differently and really be more aggressive about risk management than trying to really make something, But today and yesterday were just, in my opinion, way easier than last month. Like, there were some moments that were easy last month, but this month so far is like a walk in the park in comparison, in my opinion. Which is kind of to be expected. Markets get really nice in October and November. Not necessarily like right as we go into October, but it's nice to see that, so can't complain. But things typically start picking up towards the end of the year again, the fourth quarter here. Yeah, so this pretty much is what I wanted to talk about, though. How to determine when the market wants to auction higher and how to kind of gauge where they're stepping in on the bids and everything. And you can use these volume profiles. Got the session profile on the far right. I didn't really talk about that much, but you can use that in conjunction with these visible range profile. Or you could even use like a 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. Just to see the more recent action. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Take care, guys.